Well, we were talking about,
I was asking if the store was still there. I think if it was still a jewelry store now, or
oh, no, now it's after my father died, and then my brother became ill, and then he died. Then the store was just shut down, and then now I've passed it several times, and it's something else now. It's not any kind of store that I could
yeah.
relate to, right? But and how they sold everything, like the huge safe that they used to have, and all that. I really wasn't in on it, so I don't know really.
Yeah.
Like the jewelry that they had, I'm sure that like Bulova and all that, Elgin and all that, what they could not sell, then they probably were able to return it to the companies that sold it to them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So.
And then you said you didn't learn English till school. But
Right. Once I started St. George's, the nuns would speak to me because they spoke Lithuanian too. The nuns did, and then that's how I learned English. And then when we moved to, of course, I guess you pick up real fast from what I remember. And not all the children in the classroom were Lithuanian, maybe a couple more. And then when we moved to Shaker, my brothers and I decided that we would speak English to our mother so that she could pick up the English language faster. My father already spoke English, but they spoke Lithuanian in the house. And so that's what we did. We decided we would teach her English, and that's how she picked up English and eventually learned to read.
that's good.
Right. So.
So what was it like? What was Shaker like compared to what it is like now?
Wow, that was really, really opening up a new world to me. How I dressed. I had to learn the hard way. What I could wear and couldn't. Like if I wore a dress that maybe was not what they were wearing. They were wearing skirts and blouses, things like that. And a teacher took me aside one time and said that the dress I was wearing was not really appropriate for school. So I went home and told my mother, and we found clothes that I should be wearing. And it was easy for my sister, who was 6 years younger than me. She already went to Shaker schools in the first grade, so she learned right off the bat.
Yeah.
How Shaker people dress and live and speak and stuff like that. But I didn't find it intimidating or anything like that, or where I felt self-conscious. It never hit me that way. I just took it as this is how I should dress, and took it from there.
Yeah. Do you think those changes turned you into the person you are today? It was just kind of what happened.
Well, you kind of pick up with the way the other kids are, and they accepted me. No one ever, I had good friends, and I never looked at it as that I was beneath anyone. or that they were better than I was.
Yeah. What are you thinking about?
What I'm thinking about trying to, when I was in grade school, I was popular because I was well known in the group. My father is a businessman and stuff like that. And the nuns, took special care of me, so to speak, helped me out if I was having trouble with algebra or something like that. They would make sure that I learned. And in fact, I was so good in algebra that when I transferred to Shaker, they put me in an algebra class in the 9th grade there. And I knew what I was doing because I was already had it at the St. George's School. And they would actually ask me to help them. Can you imagine?
Wow.
But what's that other one? Geometry? Oh, forget it. I could not get that at all. That's weird, huh?
Yeah, that is weird. What do you remember about school? Is there like a good memory you have or bad memories or?
Well, I joined the choir at Shaker. That was good. Sometimes you felt like you didn't belong to the big clique, that there were sororities there and all that, but it never really, it never got to me or put me down or anything like that. I just felt good about myself and that was it.
So do you have an earliest memory?
The earliest memory I have is when we were living in a home that my father owned before living in behind the jewelry store, which made it easier for my dad to run his business. But he had a double home. We lived upstairs and downstairs were tenants. And it's these old homes with big porches upstairs and all that. Well, anyhow, there was my father and mother put up a Christmas tree in the living room and with the ornaments on there. And of course, my brothers and we would go in the living room and occasionally break a bulb and stuff like that. And so we would take it and throw it off the porch, thinking, and of course my father saw it when he came home. And it was like when walking, my mother would walk me to school when we were still living on Giddings, which was where my father owned the home. Then my mother had to walk me to school, and we would pass this shoe store. And I would see these little black patent leather shoes, and I would look in there and I would tell my mother, that I would like to have those for Easter, Well, it ended up that I didn't have them for Easter. I had the typical lace-up shoe, which I could wear, to school and everything like that. And, it's something that you don't forget, but it didn't affect me anything that I felt sorry for myself or, I couldn't have it. I couldn't have it,
Yeah. A lot of kids now today would throw a tantrum or something.
Oh gosh, no, you just accepted it. No, you maybe go to bed and you think about it, how you'd love to have them or a certain dress or whatever. My mother sewed all my clothes when I was little. But I think some of that maybe when it takes you then when you're older, I guess you just accept who you are and you look at other people, you look at other girls, how they dress, And then down the road, you think, well, you know, someday I can go and buy a skirt like that, and you do. It just works. The first year was a little hard, you know, but the people that the girls I associated with were very, you know, very kind to me and liked me, and we all got along. So I wasn't like with all the sorority girls or anything like that, which, you know, went over my head, didn't bother me a bit. So,
Yeah. So did you ever want to? Everybody asks children what they want to be when they grow up. Did anybody ask you that? And did you have something that you ever wanted to be, like a doctor?
I wanted to be a secretary.
Well,
You know, really, that's what I remember. Yeah.
and you did that.
And my father did eventually. He bought me a small typewriter, you know, so I could play and type on it and stuff like that.
Did you see that on? Did they have TV then? How did you know you wanted to be that? Or when did you know?
Well, we had just the radio at that time. We did not have TV while we were living behind my dad's store. And so when we moved to Shaker, I'm already just finishing the 8th grade. And my father bought a TV to have in the living room. We lived on up second floor of a 2-family home, which he owned. And that's when we got our TV. And we didn't go to a lot of movies. We used to have fun at picnics, you know. We used to go to different lakes and stuff. My brothers used to go and with his friends, and we would go. And
what was your favorite food growing up? And is it still your favorite food?
we did have chicken a lot. My mother would make pork chops, which I liked. She used to make what do you call those, blintzes? You know, my mom used to make blintzes, but I never had mine with cheese on it. And I put butter or jelly on it. We liked the blintzes. And then as I got older, I liked to roll my blintzes up in cheese, cottage cheese. I like that. And potato pancakes. That was an almost given thing that you're going to have on Friday, because we couldn't eat meat at that time. Just fish and fried fish and potato pancakes.